I'm Steve Vinson, and you are about to experience the life science effect. Now it's time to go behind the scenes once again to talk to another leader who's out there making it happen. We are welcoming for the second time Dr. Rainer Fischer of the Indiana Bioscience Research Institute, our first repeat guest. Welcome, Dr. Fischer. Could you just take a minute, tell us your position here at IBRI, a little bit about your personal life even maybe, and just for listeners who maybe hadn't heard the previous episode.
Yes, well, thank you, Steve. My name is Rainer Fischer. I'm the CEO and the CSIO, the Chief Science and Innovation Officer at the IBRI, the Indiana Biosciences Research Institute, since April last year, 2017. My background is in biology. I have a PhD in biology from Germany, University of Tübingen. I spent over 4 years in the US for 2 postdocs at the City of Hope, National Medical Center at Baxter Healthcare. Went back to Germany for almost 20 years to the Aachen University and to Fraunhofer, where I built a big operation. And then I was attracted by this unique opportunity to come to Indianapolis and to take these 2 positions that I mentioned early on. In my private life, I'm very much interested in music. I'm very much interested in wildlife. Just came back from Joshua Tree, spent a few days at Joshua Tree over Thanksgiving, and I like animals, in particular dogs and wolves.
Don't know if you ran into U2 while you were at Joshua Tree, but one of my favorite albums when I was younger.
Yeah, well, I didn't run into U2, but I remembered the Joshua Tree album and the resemblance and the inspiration of that. I actually attended the U2 concert last year here in Indianapolis, which was the 30-year anniversary tour of Joshua Tree, if I remember correctly. But I also saw the original concert in Cologne in Germany 30 years ago, which was quite a different experience than last year's experience. But the trees are just totally amazing and very inspirational.
I haven't been. I'll have to go. I'd love to talk about music and Joshua Tree the entire time, but we have other things to attend to. So one of the mottos of IBRI is discovery with purpose. What does that mean to you?
Well, our motto, Discovery with Purpose, reflects the commitment to the translation of scientific discoveries into improved outcomes, in particular for patients, in particular here for Hoosiers, and ultimately for people around the globe. We are not conducting only the research for the purpose of research. We want to foster on meaningful industry needs and academic research collaboration, ultimately to help the patient suffering from diabetes, metabolic disease, poor nutrition, and to develop innovative solutions or product candidates and to bring them quicker to market. And that is literally our discovery with a purpose.
I love that. I mean, just reviewing the website and coming to some of your talks and everything, Indiana is the perfect place. We have a large community here of life science professionals and over 50,000 people working in life sciences. And before IBRI, I don't want to say we didn't have an awareness. It was almost a dichotomy because Indiana always shows up on the lists of states that are the least healthy, and it's all the metabolic diseases, it's diabetes, it's weight management, things like that. And just this whole focus with IBRI coming in and focusing on those diseases that, especially in Indiana, we struggle with it's pretty inspiring. So if Indiana, speaking of Indiana, if we're going to become like a third coast of medical innovation, which I think is listening to certainly the marketing materials of everybody in life sciences in town, that's where we're headed. I think it'll require closer collaboration because while we have these 50,000 people working, I don't know if they're collaborating super closely, but I do know IBRI is seeking to foster that kind of collaboration. You think of the coast, you think of like Silicon Valley and tech companies or Boston area tech companies. But in life science, we have all these challenges, long timelines, clinical trials, regulatory hurdles, reimbursement requirements, if you're, especially in devices, and a lot of other challenges with life science. Which brings to mind 2 questions. The first one is like, why would anybody ever want to work in life science? Why wouldn't I just go over and get a job at Salesforce or Amazon or something like that? But that's really I know why I'm in life sciences, and I know why you guys are in life sciences as well. But seriously, what is IBRI doing to help, overcome those challenges?
So first of all, just like any other kind of industry or tech industry, collaboration and networking, I think, is the absolute key. And it is basically within ourselves that somehow we don't tend to communicate too much. And I think this is a really big opportunity for IBRI to come in, to connect people, get them to talk to each other, but also work together or even share joint infrastructure in a laboratory or in office space or in computing. And this was in the end the specific vision for creating and overcoming these challenges and opportunities with the inception of the IBRI. So in the end, it was literally designed to become a bridge or a literal bridge between different organizations in Indiana, from academia to industry, including small startups and the large players, whether it's in pharmaceuticals, diagnostics, or in the food feed industry. And for that, you need people. You need the talent, and you need to attract them, but you also need to retrain them. And in the end, once you open this communication and foster this networking, I think you can sort of break down, in quote, silos that have been formed not only in Indiana, all around the globe, in my opinion. And I've realized that and been exposed to that for over 20 years. And the people that can really tear down these walls, Pink Floyd.
Yeah, right.
Break another brick in the wall, okay? Yeah. These are the ones that will win and basically have a competitive advantage. And we were fortunate enough that both industry and academia here in the state realized that there needs to be an independent, non-for-profit organization that bridges academia and industry. So in industry with Lilly, with Roche Diagnostics, Dow, now Corteva or Cook, but also the academic partners with IU, with Purdue University and Notre Dame, but also Ball State and maybe in the future Ivy Tech. They have really realized that this could be beneficial to really make a significant contribution to the needs of the people in the state, in the country, and around the globe to improve public health. And this is what we want to take on. And that's, I think, where our key mission is and our contributions to the community and to the people living in the state.
So you mentioned attracting and retaining talent. That's every networking event I go to, that's what people talk about. And we talk about a net brain drain from Indiana. What's IBRI doing to address that and to maybe turn it into a brain gain instead of brain drain?
Well, that's a very good question, but also a challenging question to answer. So in the end, of course, we try very hard to attract the top talent to the Institute. And I think we have been quite successful in doing this with several people, in particular our PIs, but also our other staff. And maybe if I can even say that even myself, taking a very strong and lifetime position to quit in Germany, both at the university and Fraunhofer, to take on the CEO and CSIO job. So the four key people that we have recruited is Robert Considine. He is a doctor and professor of medicine at IU. And he's literally now coordinating and supervising our diabetes and metabolic disease activities. He is focused really on these issues that you mentioned before, diabetes, obesity, and their complication. It was initially started with Teresa Mastracci in the Regenerative Medicine Center and group, and we have now expanded that to basically form a new center of excellence together with Lilly and IU School of Medicine. And Bob is coordinating that, and Teresa's group has been integrated in that. Then you might remember from last year, we have Dr. Pugia here, Michael Pugia, and he is maybe the other side of the extreme. He has been in industry and holds over 300 patents and has helped bringing over 20 product candidates to market. So he worked formerly with Bayer or for Bayer and the Siemens company, two German companies, in the diagnostic space. And so this basically now bridges again our basic research with the other ones in the applied research space. Then another big asset is the applied and big data science space. And there we were fortunate enough to recruit Dan Robertson, a former Lilly employee who started out as an executive loan. And that's a very interesting model. So literally by executive loans to, let's say, by a crossroad, they helped with the first person, that was Jay McGill, to set up the first strategic plan and document for the IBRI, and then to reduce it to practice in the big data space. That was Dan Robertson. And I was fortunate enough to convince him to quit Lilly and to join IBRI as a full-time employee. And he has some extremely interesting stories coming out of electronic health records, medical records, after polishing the data in relation to diabetes and obesity. And you will hear more about that over the next few weeks, some very interesting stories. But we were also fortunate enough to attract other people like Dr. Yusupov, and he started a second new center for pharmaceutical biotechnology now here, looking into new core competencies to build platforms to develop and manufacture vaccines and antibodies, and the antibodies for diagnostic and therapeutic purposes. So in the end, I think we have really been quite fortunate to identify and to recruit these people and to build a team. And since the last time we had the previous seminar or call here, we have now grown to 38 people at IBRI, which is a tremendous growth within a little bit over a year here at the IBRI. So I think we have really succeeded in identifying, attracting talent. Now the challenge might be to keep the talent, of course, but also to further grow and also to bring this in the context of the needs of the people in the state, but also our key partners in academia as well as in industry. And to do this, we have now started thinking about dual appointments with the academic researchers so that our people in IBRI or the senior people also have a dual appointment at the academic organizations like IU and Purdue.
For example, I think you have a dual appointment, don't you?
Yes, I have one with Purdue University, and I'm very grateful for that. So I'm holding a presidential fellowship, which was awarded by Mitch Daniels to me, and I'm now setting up a lab. I have already an office at Purdue University for research topics that will be complementary to IBRI, but also the other partners here in the state.
Fantastic. Mitch Daniels knows good talent when he sees it. One of our best governors, in my opinion, and he's very smart to bring you over there as well. So you've talked a lot about IBRI's research, and obviously IBRI is a force multiplier in that not only research that's conducted here in your labs, but also research that's encouraged, and the collaboration that happens will just be way more than the 38 folks that you've recruited so far will create so much more value than just the sum of their parts. What is the ultimate benefit for patients as you see it?
Well, ultimately, I think if we want to bring it down, we would say we would like to cure diabetes. But this is, of course, a challenge and a goal that will take decades, maybe several decades. And there's many centers around the globe that are working on that. I think we have planted a very nice seed here. In particular now with the expansion into the Center of Excellence for Diabetes Research together with IU and with Lilly company. So Dr. Mastracci, she started this kind of research here in the diabetes metabolic disease space. And I think she has come up now with some very nice clues and findings to identify changes in the gene expression patterns resulting from the disease, from diabetes. And we hope that we can use this as a basis to basically not only do the basic research and the analysis of the gene expression patterns in conjunction with the disease, but ultimately to use that to develop innovative therapeutic intervention or regenerative medicine programs around that. And for that, we need bigger teams. And that's why we basically established together with Lilly this Diabetes Center of Excellence. So we definitely need more people, more hands, and to attract more people to come to IBRI and to the state. And just for the listeners here, there's over 670,000 patients affected by diabetes in the state of Indiana, according to a study from the American Diabetes Association from 2016. So I think we really have a mandate here to work on this very important topic and to give our best contributions, whether it's in diagnostics and therapeutics or even in the big data analytics space, to find innovative solutions in that space.
Fantastic. I'm glad you started with cure diabetes, as ambitious as that sounds. We have a diverse listener group, and some of them, I think, need to hear things like pharmaceutical industry, people want to cure disease. We don't want to just treat it forever. Even though it might not sound like a great business model, if I sell razor blades, my goal is to keep people from ever growing any whiskers, you would say, well, that would run you out of business. Well, with pharmaceutical companies, no, we don't want to sell insulin forever, for example. We'd love to cure diabetes, so we'd never have to sell insulin again. We'll figure out ways to make money down the road and keep our industry going. But the pharmaceutical industry and just the medical industry in general is about improving quality of life, but also getting rid of these diseases that affect so many people. Boy, 670,000, I didn't even think about that. I mean, that's the population, that's almost the population of Indianapolis, biggest city in the state. Amazing. Let's go ahead and take a little break right now, and when we come back, maybe get some of your personal advice for people, and maybe just a little bit more information about yourself. The Indiana Biosciences Research Institute is connecting the brightest minds and expertise from industry, academia, and the public sector to tackle diabetes, metabolic disease, and poor nutrition. Their motto is Discovery with Purpose, reflecting their commitment to the translation of scientific discovery into improved outcomes for patients here in Indiana and around the world. More at www.indianabiosciences.org. Welcome back. Reiner, what advice would you have for young people and leaders listening to? We have a lot of young people who want to be leaders, people who are leaders and maybe want to get more involved in the excitement. So in other words, how can they get involved in helping to make a difference?
Well, I think the best thing is to really follow your instincts. And if you're interested in something, stay tuned and really make a contribution. And in this case, we started with tech versus life sciences. I would say, why shouldn't we all go into life sciences almost? Because it's one of the most fascinating areas in terms of discovery, but also in terms of trying to find innovative solutions. And in the end, we need to really bridge the gap between academia and industry and bring more of these wonderful and innovative ideas closer to the market. So in the end, there is a wealth of opportunities. You can be in the research, you can be in the applied research, you can be in regulatory research, as you mentioned also in the beginning, but you can also be in sales. So in the end, the entire spectrum is there. The question is only where do you enter and where do you find your niche and where you want to take this. Also, the great thing is these are topics that we are dealing with that are of global concern and interest. So it brings you really around the globe and you are facing all these challenges, whether this is now directly with the cause for the disease, but also the data that are behind that and how can we make this or make use of that for better diagnostic and therapeutics on a global scale. So I think this could be a nice nucleus, a good starting point here in Indianapolis at IBRI, but also with the partners. And then you can decide, I go more the academic, I go more the industrial route, or I even spin off my own ideas or take the patents and then basically develop my own company. And we want to welcome all these partners under our roof, and for that we need more space. And what we want to do now is we want to move within 2 years into a new building within 16 Tech. Everybody has heard about the 16 Tech Innovation District, and as it stands right now on the 12th of December is the groundbreaking ceremony for building one in the 16 Tech community. And then hopefully within less than 2 years, the new building will go up and then we will move in. But not only us, again, we want a network. So we will have hopefully people from IU, School of Medicine, being our partners in the first building, but also people from BioCrossroads, who have been literally the group that has helped us to be incorporated and has been a great partner and supporter since the beginning. So we're very excited about these opportunities, and I welcome everybody who is interested in life sciences, IT and tech and the convergence of that to join us in one way or the other, or our partners to really make this dream a reality and ultimately contributing to this challenging situation of diabetes, obesity, cardiometabolic diseases.
You triggered a thought that this was over at the Thanksgiving dinner. I had remembered an article I had read because we were talking about advances in technology, and somebody said recently, and I can't remember who it was, I'll have to find that article, that the 21st century, the advancements of the 21st century biotech will be as important as physics was to advances in the 20th century. In other words, if you were born in the early part of the 20th century, you saw air travel and space travel and the internet and just communications and everything, all related from advancements in physics. By the time this century is over, living to 100 will be nothing. 100 will be the new 80. And so to your point, that excitement, if you're a young person looking to get into an exciting industry and you're sad because you missed the tech boom and the internet in the early days, these are the early days of what's going to be amazing advancements in biosciences. And I think IBRI is certainly at the forefront of that. So where would you send listeners to get more information about what we talked about today? Website best? Follow you on LinkedIn? What would you say is the best route there?
So the best way is, of course, checking out our website, www.indianabiosciences.org. I think this is the best way to learn about the 4 centers that I talked about in the diabetes space, single-cell analytics, applied data sciences, and the pharmaceutical biotechnology area. But we also are using social media, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and they're constantly updated by Mark, our PR person. And literally you can follow all our documents as a 501c3 research institute. We also accept personal and organizational contributions from our readers or from our donors, and that has helped the IBRI to excel and to advance significantly. So again, www.indianabiosciences.org, and also through our partners and parent organizations, BioCrossroads, www.biocrossroads.com. You will hear a lot about us. So we are cross-citing each other quite strictly, and so there's a lot of information also on their bio, on their homepage that can be addressed through the readers or the listeners.
And if anybody has any questions about something they heard today, what would be the best way to reach out?
They can either reach out to me or to Mark Kraft. So we're totally open, and anybody on the homepage you can click on, send an email, or use the social media, reach out, or even come by, have a look at the Institute and talk to the people.
I can attest to that. There are lots of events here, and I've been to a number of them, and it's always rich. Opportunities to meet people, but also always rich information being shared. Everyone's friendly, so yeah, stop on by. I would encourage that as well. One last question that I didn't warn you about. So you've been in Indianapolis now since April of 2017. I love this town. I've been here for a long time. What do you think of Indianapolis?
Well, I love living here. So I live on Eagle Creek, and that's the best place I've ever lived at. And I think we can improve a little bit in the winter. So the temperatures are a little bit cool. But true. No, I'm very happy to be here, and hopefully one day becoming a Hoosier. So I'm very happy being here. It's a great place. It offers a little bit of everything. And I'm very happy that I made the move and that I'm leading here the Institute, the IBRI, but also living here and have my personal roots now in Indianapolis.
We're fortunate to have you. It was very good discussion. Fortunate to have you on the show. Thank you so much, Rainer.
Well, thank you so much, Steve. And if anybody has any questions, reach out. Feel free to contact us anytime. Thank you.
Fantastic. You have just experienced the life science effect. If you liked it, be sure and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. And more importantly, tell your colleagues, tell your boss, tell your friends. It'll make you look smart, and maybe it'll even get you a raise. Thanks again to our presenting sponsor, BPM Associates. Set your medical innovations in motion. BPM helps life science companies design, manage, and execute their most complex projects. What effect will you cause? Thanks to today's guest and to all of our guests. Who else should I be talking to? Send me an email at steven.vincent@bpm-associates.com. That's all for now. Thanks for listening, and go make something amazing happen.